The Jawbone Up 24 is an interesting piece of hardware. It's a nondescript little band that fits pretty snugly on your wrist, and you honestly forget it's there a lot of the times. It also belongs to a category of devices that probably won't even exist in 5 short years, that is, fitness trackers. With all this in mind, you're still bound to get some questions when someone notices it's not your typical Livestrong band on your wrist. But is that a good thing? Is there a real, justifiable reason to spend over $100 on this little wristband? Well, that's what you're here to find out, so let's see. First things first, if there is one thing that I want you to take away from this video, just one bit of information, it's that having the Bluetooth syncing capability is almost literally invaluable. I had the original Up model that had to be synced by plugging it into the headphone jack of your phone, and I can say that without a shadow of a doubt, being able to sync wirelessly with just a click of a button is one of the most convenient features you could possibly ask for. And honestly, it's about time Jawbone delivered this, considering pretty much no other tracker right now syncs manually anyway. You can choose to either leave Bluetooth on your phone all day and have the app periodically sync, or just do what I do and turn Bluetooth on every once in a while and see how things are going, and then I turn it off and save myself some battery. Whichever route you go, it's infinitely easier to do than before. The app itself hasn't really changed a whole lot. It's just as easy to use as before and just as informative, except for one thing. You see, with devices like the Up or Up 24, or maybe the Fitbit Flex, or even the Nike Fuel Band, you're only going to get out of it what you put in. Sure, it's neat to see all the statistics that devices and software together create, but there's no real way of knowing exactly how accurate it is, and that goes for all these devices. And on top of that, inputting every single thing you eat or drink is just flat out tiresome and boring. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it realistic? I would argue not so much. You would probably spend more time inputting the data than you would actually trying to become active and fit, and that would end up negating any work you've really done. Then there's the actual accuracy of the data it collects. Sure, you can calibrate until you're blue in the face, and for that particular activity, it may be spot on. But it's impossible to know if you're adding untaken steps from something like tying your shoe, or cleaning a dish after eating, or maybe just a vibration from a controller in your hand while you're playing a video game. Now these aren't just made up scenarios, these are real experiences I've noticed over the past few weeks. I've actually measured it before and after doing these things and seen a change in the number of steps taken. One of my biggest complaints, and the one that is a total deal breaker for me, has to deal with riding a motorcycle, so if any of you out there ride, pay attention. I enjoy riding my motorcycle like we all do, and I do it whenever I can to conserve some gas between school and work. But I've noticed that the Up 24 recognizes about a half hour of riding, just casual riding, as nearly 5,000 steps. And I'm not just talking regular steps either, I mean active steps, like running, exercise. It actually thinks I'm working out when I'm just riding. It's cases like these that skew the data and make devices like this all but useless to me, and basically a wristband / paperweight combo. Things aren't all bad with the Up 24 though, and the good things I have to say about it are generally pretty good. For one, the sleep tracking is really neat. That, and I love being woken up by a gentle vibration versus an annoying alarm on my phone. The Up also tracks how much and how well you sleep, both of which I question because I'm always tired anyway. However, that being said, it really only tells me what I already know, and that's pretty much that I don't sleep enough. Then there's the build material itself. When I had the original Up, I got a light blue model, and to be honest, it looked pretty nasty after a week. It somehow managed to absorb color from basically anything it touched, and was turning into this weird blue and black Frankenstein wristband. I'm proud to say that with the persimmon colored Up 24, that problem is basically non-existent. The band is nearly as vibrant as it was on day one, and feels just as great. Jawbone changed the pattern, the material, and the single button ever so slightly from the original, all of which are welcome improvements that make it more comfortable to wear. Especially the button, because now it doesn't occasionally jab into your wrist, and that kinda hurt. It's not to say that the original was uncomfortable per se, this one just feels more natural. It looks nice, feels nice, and honestly makes a decent looking accessory, so I have to commend Jawbone for being able to make all those qualities, cause it's a lot easier said than done. The battery life is claimed to be about 7 days, I get about 6, so it's nothing special. The bottom line with the Up 24, and I would venture to say with all fitness trackers, is that you are the ultimate deciding factor. I'm very physically active, meaning I exercise a lot, so I would consider myself to be the target demographic for trackers like these, but it just doesn't do it for me personally. It's too inconsistent to justify the price tag. If it was $30 to $50, I would be able to live with the imperfections and keep it. But for $120 on sale, like I got it, and $149 normally, there are just too many cons. And some of these things are problems that are likely never going to be fixed because they just can't be. Case in point, my motorcycle experience. All in all, my verdict with the UP24 is that if you're curious, try it. Like all pieces of technology, your mileage may vary, and I truly think that the UP24 is the best in its class. If you don't like it, return it. Jawbone has the best customer support I have ever experienced. It's comforting to know that Jawbone stands behind their product so well, and I think it's something that other companies can really take away from. But ultimately, they're producing a very niche product that's eventually probably going to be integrated into other smart devices. That's all for today, so thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like the video if you enjoyed it, or share it if you think other people might be interested in learning a little bit about trackers like these. And also, please, if you have questions, leave them down below. I try to answer them as quickly as I can. Make sure if you enjoyed this video and you want to see future content like it, subscribe. There's a couple links down below you can do it. You pretty well know how YouTube works by now. That's all for today, so once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.